Morning, everyone. Thank you for joining us this morning. I would firstly like to welcome you and thank you for attending this morning's session of our Global Insights presentation. My name is Louis Moodley and I'm the Program Coordinator here at the School of Continuing Education at Red Deer College. This morning we have a presentation by a very seasoned and well-accomplished speaker and founder and president. This morning's speaker is the founder and president of Global Stakes Consulting, Maiden Manzanal-Frank. Maiden will be unpacking diversity and inclusion and providing you with tools for preparing your business and working during this pandemic period and engaging and managing diverse teams. Maiden has experience in working with local, central Alberta, international and across Canada in diversity and inclusion, stakeholder management, supply chain management, strategic change, and many other leadership topics. Maiden has experience in working with different countries and different teams in both local government and private enterprise. So I would like to welcome Maiden this morning, who will be our guest speaker. Thank you, Maiden.
Go. So today, thank you for attending this session. This is very important. Today, I will talk about managing and leading diverse teams in a post-pandemic world, challenges and opportunities. Thank you, Louis, for that great introduction. My name is Maiden Manzanal-Frank, and I'm the president of Global Stakes Consulting. Before I start my presentation, I'd like to ask you a preliminary question regarding diversity and inclusion. You might be someone in the organization that is holding a management position, you're in a leadership role, you're working with diverse teams, you might have an understanding already, a basic understanding of diversity, inclusion, and equity. And I want to start this conversation by locating where you are in the stages of diversity, inclusion, and awareness. We start with defense, which is obviously that's our defense system when we're faced with diverse opinions, diverse backgrounds, diverse or foreign things that are unknown to us. The second is we try to minimize differences because it's not comfortable. We're not aware of how much different we are in the world or how much difference is there in the world. And we try to, as much as possible, just focus on the commonalities. The third is you're feeling there's an acceptance in terms of diversity, but you're not completely aware and you don't completely understand exactly where your organization could be in this spectrum. Adaptation, there's an ability to really get to know the other person, get to know the differences between you and the other person or other groups and really understand from their point of view and change and shift your perspectives along those lines in terms of working together. And the last would be integration. We're feeling confident that you're able to integrate differences in your organization and have the tools, resources, and perspectives in place to make sure that you have you can integrate differences into strengths, and this can help you in your organization's pursuit of your business objectives. So at the very start, if you can put it in the chat box or in the Q&A, some of the things that you can share with us in terms of where you are in the stage. I will get back to this at the end of the presentation, and this will be a sort of a food for thought for you as we go through some of the things that I will share today. So some definition of terms before we go really deep into the conversation, because this is such a timely and controversial subject at this point. So workplace, we're talking about workplace diversity, and workplace diversity is just about, any workforce made up of different human qualities. If you look at the diversity wheel that I'm presenting to you today, the first six diverse elements would be physical abilities, age, sexual orientation, ethnicity, race, gender. These are protected human rights differences that are protected and enshrined in national laws and international laws. So these are protected grounds in terms of diversity. But the second portion of the wheel, outside of that first six elements, would be secondary diversity elements and characteristics. And when we talk about workplace diversity, it's not just age, it's not just physical disability, it's not just gender or ethnicity or racial background or your sexual orientation or your gender expression or any other way you try to express it. It's not just that. There's a whole gamut of other human qualities that are different from each other because everyone is unique. So it's about work background, your creed, your education, your parental or marital status, your political ideology. We all have that. Appearances, we're all different. Communication styles and skills or leadership styles. Some of us have military experience, so that sets us apart from other people. We have religious beliefs, traditions, practices that are unique to us. We also have socioeconomic status, which is very important, a different kind of an important element in our being, as well as thinking styles, geographic location, our mobilities, our experiences, and even if you belong to a different culture, you belong to a certain caste or class or ethnic, linguistic groups, that could be another set of identifiers for you. So in a whole, it's this all of these things make up what we call our diversity, and that diversity should be a strength. Inclusion. What does inclusion mean? Inclusion is the intentional and strategic way of integrating diversities into strength. Inclusion means belonging, but beyond belonging, it's really acceptance. And beyond acceptance, it's really integration at the fullest and deepest sense of the word and the meaning. I'm going to throw in the word intersectionality. You might have heard it many times, but it's good to be reminded of how our identities together are interconnected and interrelated, and you can bring something up, some identities up and some play down, some identities, and put together, you have a certain amount of vulnerabilities, overlapping vulnerabilities that it's good to have a great sense of. If you're building a policy, if you're building a strategy, if you're targeting a specific group. And for example, if you're a female, a younger person with less educational background, and you are also gender expansive, you're coming from, you're foreign born, you just landed in Canada, for example, and you don't know any English. So all these identities and all these characteristics that you have make you a person that has high vulnerability. And if you're a policymaker, a decision maker, you have to think about that in an intersectionality sense, in an intersectionality approach, so that you're bringing the whole picture and bring the elements to bear in the context of how you're going to make such policies, such strategies, such measure equitable to these groups that you're targeting, to these groups that you are serving. So those are the keywords we're trying to discuss today. So what this presentation is about, it's about actually two things. We know that diverse and inclusive organizations are innovative organizations, point blank. We know this for a fact. The research, the evidence shows it for the couple of years now. It's been 2 decades since the diversity and inclusion has risen in corporate Canada, in corporate America, and even in Europe. There's ton of evidence on this supporting this, that diverse organizations are innovative organizations, and innovative organizations are profitable, highly viable, and globally competitive organizations that are not just thriving, but are surviving in the context of many crises whatsoever. So we know this for a fact. We know it's good for business, it's good for society, it's good for the economy. But right now we're seeing deep divides in racial, gender, ethnic lines, and this has been shaking the whole many societies across the world. We have the Me Too movement last year. We have gender wage issues. We have the Silicon Valley gender issues as well, and then you have COVID-19. You have Black Lives Movement, Black Lives Matter movement, and then you have the COVID-19. All these wrap up together comprise our greatest challenges of the time. Diversity inclusion matters. It matters right now, and it will continue to become an important element in the conversation about emergence, recovery, and going beyond resilience. So we know exactly what works. We're getting the picture right now in terms of evidence on the ground and what companies are doing. We have learned about case studies of companies that are doing it. Some are laggards, some are really top performers, and some are in between. And we know things could be better, but I'm going to focus on what we could be doing better, and then using gender and equity lens to propel us to emergence and recovery. Inclusion requires culture change. That means it's going to be long, it's going to be arduous, it has to be deep. So anything that's artificially manifestations of the cultural diversity, or even diversity of and other diversities through all this cultural stuff, food trainings, and sometimes imagery, bereft of any substantive change efforts in the workplace, will just reinforce further stereotypes and generalizations that are not promoting diversity. Hundreds and thousands of trainings in corporate America and Canada have been done on diversity inclusion. So where are the results? Where are the outcomes? I'm saying that in the context of my work as a diversity champion myself. I've seen that we can do better on this, that we don't need to stop at training, that we don't need to stop at sensitivity awareness and all of that stuff. And it's just one way. It's just an initial way of getting people together to talk about this important topic. And it's going to be long and deep. So don't have organizations are serious in this. You should set the pace for a long-term strategic objective for diversity. You have to go deep within the systems and processes within the organization. And you need to focus on real issues that can be solved right away, and build practices in place that are healthy around conflict management, nonviolent communication, open decision-making, use of rewards and positive reinforcements, open and honest conversations across lines within the organization, using creativity, and also talking about your customers. Are you reaching the kinds of customers that you have with the diversity of the customers that you have? So are you reflecting those diversities? And also good strategy in the sense that